Good morning, YouTubers. Thank you for tuning in to channel Dave Frost. Today I have a review of Transformers Combiner Wars Autobot Skydive. He is part of Superion, and as you can tell, this is the box. This is the front of the box with a big picture of Skydive with a picture of the figure and a picture of the little card, ID card that comes included. On the right side you get the picture of Superion, an artwork picture of Superion, the Combiner Wars logo, and the initiation or the interpretation or whatever that this is 2 out of 5, that this figure is 2 of the 5 figures that you get from Wave 1 of the Combiner Wars. Left side of the box has nothing. Back of the box has the spot where you place Skydive on the Superion Superion figure, and then all of the 5 figures that come out in Wave 1 of the Combiner Wars toy line. And the presentation saying that there's 11 steps to transform him from vehicle mode to robot mode and back again. And a little description saying that he's a master combat tactician, obviously of the air, since he's a jet, an aerial bot. Here is the card that comes with the figure, but I've noticed a few minor differences between the actual toy figure and the art representation, such as he does not have shoulder pads. On the figure, he does not have shoulder pads that stick out. He does not have a tail wing on his back. But you can see the wings that stick out the back. On the sides here, they just stick out supposedly as part of his backpack, I guess, on the back of the figure. And then here you can see 2 wings that stick out the sides of his legs, but on the figure he does not have that. So that's a pretty good representation of artwork of the figure, but with the minor differences that do not exist on the figure that do exist on the card. And this is just the back of the card saying that the Combiner Wars is a part of the Generations toy line. And here we get the instruction manual that folds out like all instruction manuals do, and it takes 6 steps or 11 steps to change him from robot to limb mode for an arm, 7 steps to transform him from vehicle mode to the limb mode of a leg, come around to the front, takes 11 steps to transform him from robot mode to vehicle mode, and then vehicle mode to robot mode. Sorry for that minor noise. Anyways, so this is the action figure. Very nice figure, and he has gray, black, and red printing or coloring on his body, gold coloring on the wings and on the missiles, dark gray windshield of the cockpit, and some orange, goldish, or just orange coloring for the face, and blue coloring for the eyes. As you see there. And he does come with one weapon, which is just a double barrel gun. And he has multiple spots on his robot mode to hold it. Well, actually just two for the hands, but he can also store it on his back wings, on both back wings. And he also can hold this as a weapon, which is just the limb part where it becomes the hand or foot. Right now I have it in foot position. So, like I've been saying, it's a very nice figure. It has tail fins on the back of his legs, which you may not see it down here, but the tail fins are not exactly touching the ground, but do support good weight for balance. So let's do some size comparisons. Sorry, I have to turn on the fan for the time being. This is a size comparison with a legend sized figure, a fellow aerial bot, or so-called aerial Autobot from the Combiner Wars toy line, Power Glide. Then we have Night Cruise from Robots in the Skies, and I don't know if he really counts as a deluxe, because Skydive is a deluxe, or if Night Cruise is a legend size figure, because Power Glide is a legend class. So I don't know if this really counted as deluxe class back in the day of 2000, back in the year of 2001 when Robots in the Skies came out, the first Robots in the Skies TV show. Then we have Energon Treadshot, who is pretty much considered a fellow aerial bot, because he was part of the aerial bot team who was a part of the Superion figure, Superion Maximus from Transformers Energon. But then again, I do not really know if he counts as a deluxe figure or a Legends figure, more of an in-between size of a figure. Then we have an aerial Dinobot. Take Power Glide out of the picture. We have Dinobot Strafe or Straff, who does fly, so it's a fellow aerial Autobot. Then we have a fellow aerial Autobot, Springer, who is known as a triple changer, but he flies in one of his vehicle forms. So I say he counts as an aerial Autobot. And as you see here, Skydive is Deluxe, Springer is Voyager. Then we have a fellow aerial Autobot, Jetfire from Transformers Armada. And I'm pretty sure he would count more as a leader class, not so much as a Voyager class, because Voyager class is Springer, and Jetfire is a little bit taller than that, so I say he counts as a leader class figure. So first, what I want to do is transform Skydive into limb mode. So first, let's go to arm mode, where you bring the legs together. My bad. First up, I gotta do the articulation. So he has ball joint arms, where the arms can fold out that far out in a wide stance. Good elbow articulation, good arm rotation, and that's kind of due to the transformation for combiner mode. And that's for both arms. And there's also, since it's on a ball joint, it's rotation for the shoulders as well. Then there's waist 360 waist rotation due to the transformation for combiner mode as well. Then there's outward positioning of the thighs. The legs can go forward and back. And just below the thigh, there's also leg rotation, and also knee bending as well. And the head can rotate 360 degrees, go up that far, so that's not much. And that's it for the articulation of the figure. Now let's transform to arm limb mode. So what you want to do is bring the legs together. Rotate the legs or lower arm out to the side. Rotate the head so it's invisible when you fold it in to bring out the combination peg. Then you want to take the shoulders, rotate the arms and the shoulder, arm and shoulder out this way, fold it down, rotate below the shoulder so the underside of the arm faces towards you, and then fold the arm up at the elbow. And as you can tell, there's a peg hole here and a peg back there on the wing, so that's where it connects, and that is where the arm stores or is placed at for combiner mode. So on this figure, you're gonna have the arms stored up like this, and the cockpit still in the back, and the wings back, pointing back that way. For the combination forms or modes, for leg and arm positions, whichever you choose to put Skydive at as an arm or leg for Superion. So now we bring in the hand-foot piece, fold out the fingers, bend down the connector peg, have that pointing out, then bring up the thumb and fold it forward. And here we see a peg hole. See what I can do for lighting, so you guys see that properly. There we go. And that's where the hand peg goes into the peg hole of the feet. So since there's knee bendage for the robot mode figure, for the robot mode of the Skydive figure, it does count as leg or elbow bending when he's arm, and it is double jointed, so it's kind of different from regular human elbow bending. And you can rotate thumb to go on either side. If you want to have Skydive as a right arm or a left arm. For Superion, now you'll want to take the hand out, put Skydive in the back for later, curl the thumb back to this position, fold in the fingers, and fold the peg, connector peg, and have it pointing up, and that will be the foot. Now bring up the head, rotate it back to its normal position if you were to have it for robot mode. Rotate the legs back here back to this position as if you were going to do robot mode. Going back to the head, yeah, you bring it back to this position so that when you bring it to leg mode, it shows its backside and it wouldn't be so obvious during combination mode. And like I said before, we leave the arms as is, but then you want to take the legs, split them in half, and bring them up as so. And there you have them in leg mode, but I'd rather have it this way so that when he combines with Silverbolt for combination mode to form Superion, the connector peg is able to go like this, so it counts as a knee joint for the Superion figure. And that's it for leg mode. Now let's transform him into vehicle mode. So you already have the legs at the correct position, but you want to come over here, fold down the tail fins, then take the arms, rotate the shoulder and the arms back as if you were going for robot mode, but then take the arms, fold it up at this one hinge in here, and then fold it back down at that hinge. Then you can bring the wing over the shoulder. Same for the other side. But first, you gotta open the legs, or the front of the legs, so you can put the connector peg back into the chest, into the lower part of the chest. Then take the head, rotate it so the face is going towards the back, because then you'll take the cockpit of the vehicle mode, fold it completely flat at this hinge, and then fold it up at this hinge, and the head just stores in there, not facing out, so it's not so obvious in vehicle mode. And there you have Skydive. Also, you want to make sure that the back of the legs are in these slots so it connects in some way, because it doesn't really, I don't see how it really works. They just slot in, but it is all stiff enough in this area to where it does connect and stay in place. So this is vehicle mode. Now I do have some gripes here for vehicle mode, such as these wings are a bit too forward. Usually this corner would be flushed in with the angle of the sides of the cockpit. That's for a usual aerial jet, but obviously not the case for this figure. And there's another gripe where the arms are just out in the open and are pretty obvious. Like from back here, oh, I see two hands. Obviously not so much here because there's enough arm coverage to hide the hands, but still you would see it from the top and the bottom of the vehicle mode. And those are my gripes about the vehicle mode. So now onto the weapon storage, where you have a peg hole up here, and for this hand foot piece you can store it like that. However, for you can do this if you want to, is just take what would be the finger portion of this piece and fold that part down like this, then fold up the thumb all the way up so it curls in between the gun or the gun shooters right here. And now the peg is down here so it can still peg into the vehicle mode, and it can sit in this position as if it were a turret, a jet turret. Though I don't know if it really necessarily looks like a turret from the sides, and who the heck would sit in here and shoot the gun when it's just angled out like that. But with the robot mode weapon, or the second, well, the usual gun, you can just store it in the same place, and it could be guns for the top of the vehicle. And now I will do the size comparisons. Okay, so first off, before I go on with the size comparisons, I want to state the fact that there's no landing gear beneath the cockpit nose cone of the vehicle mode, but back here we do have printing for landing gear for the back of the vehicle mode, but it doesn't come out. We just have these tabs here that pretty much hold up the vehicle, the figure in vehicle mode. So that's the third gripe about this figure that I have. But anyways, here's the comparison with Legend Class Power Glide again. And obviously Skydive is taller and wider. And also obviously longer in length from front to back. Then we have Night Cruise, and he almost reaches the same length of Skydive in vehicle form. But obviously, due to the wings, Skydive is still wider. And without the extra gun, he also counts as being higher. Other than the back tail fins, he's still pretty higher than Night Cruise. actually, I think Night Cruise may be the same exact length as Skydive, maybe a little longer or shorter, I don't know. Next is Tread Shot. And obviously Skydive is a bigger jet than Tread Shot, from nose cone to tail fin, or even rocket in the back, which we don't actually have much of a presentation of a rocket, just these bits right here right underneath the tail fins. So that's all we have for rocket boosters on Skydive. But going back to the size comparison, Skydive's obviously longer in length, wider, and I think higher maybe. I don't know, Tread Shot might be higher in the cockpit, but obviously Skydive is higher in the tail fin. But overall in the body, I think they're the same height wise. Next we have Straff or Strafe, however you want to say his name. Bend up the wings a bit so we can still line it up pretty good. From nose cone to rocket booster versus beak to back feet, I believe Strafe or Straff. I'd rather Straff, so I'll just stick with that. Straff obviously beats Skydive in length. And other than the wings on both figures, let me take Straff's gun off. Also do that. I think I think Skydive's body is wider. Excluding the wings, I think, I'm pretty sure Skydive's body is wider than Straff's. And height, obviously Skydive is higher. I'm pretty sure of it. Next we have Springer. So I think Springer has a wider body form and would obviously beat Skydive in length. There we go. And then width, I think Springer would be wider than Skydive. And for the final comparison, I don't know why I should be doing this, seeing that Jetfire's a much bigger figure, he beats Skydive in all proportions. He beats him in being wide, height and also length. Going that way. I'm pretty sure Jetfire has beaten Skydive in all proportions, just because Jetfire's a much bigger figure. So, going back to robot mode, other than what I've already mentioned, there's one or a few more things I have to talk about. Obviously, the side tail fins fold up, but when you're coming here to bringing down the legs, you have to make sure that these gray pieces have the tab holes facing outward, so that these tabs here will go into those tab holes. As so. Then you bring the feet out, fold the cockpit down on this hinge and then back up on this hinge. And there are two pegs on the outer sides of the cockpit flap, and they turn the head around. They obviously tab into these tab holes, or peg into these peg holes, whatever you want to preferably call them. So that's another thing that I have to mention when going into robot mode. And there we go. That is Aerialbot Transformers Combiner Wars Aerialbot Skydive. Now, once again, I thank you for tuning into my channel. I thank you guys for watching. Please rate by liking, comment, share, subscribe. Do whatever the heck else you want with all the videos here on my Defrost channel, as well as all the videos on my Mr. Defrost 2 channel. And remember, and once again, I thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and remember, go forth and build on.